the amount of times I've seen the inside of my body is horrifying. The amount of times I've seen bones fucking shattered. Like I've woken up in pools of blood with my foot here. My left foot here, right here, dude. Next to my head.
I love this story. He tells it. Usually it's funny or not so serious.
That was the skiing
Yeah.
one.
When you say you saw your foot next to your head.
Next to my head, within a half an inch. And blood all around me. I opened my eyes and there were people. That was when I had my first OxyContin because of that accident. And there were people staring all around me, looking down at me. And I got dragged down the hill on. I try to laugh about this shit now. It's fucking ridiculous. But I got dragged down the hill on a snowmobile and had to go in for surgery. And I remember my mom was on the phone. I was 4 hours away from home. Everyone else had left for the day because they were like, yo, we have to get on this bus back to Connecticut. We were in Killington in Vermont skiing. My mom's like, all I remember was this little flash of my mom like crying. And the next time I woke up and I was in traction, my foot was attached to the ceiling because they had to separate the femur far enough to stick a titanium rod into my femur and then screw it at my hip and my knee. That was, I should have died. I should have died from the splenectomy a year earlier when I ruptured my spleen and they had to go in and cut my entire stomach open and remove one of my vital organs. Like, this story's fucked. And that's why I knew I had to write it. And that's why I knew I had to tell it. I was like, yo, like,
when did you start writing?
Wait, what about the one where your leg got caught in a pothole?
Yeah, that was 2008. And by the way, worst injury, even though it was not the most life-threatening. I'll just tell the story. The whole story quickly. This is at a time when I'm selling a lot of heroin, a lot. Like it's got to a point where, and this was all.
Can you get in trouble for saying this now?
Nah, I believe we're past statute of limitations. Jed, you can go ahead and fact check me on that one, but it's all in the book. So fucking come grab me, dude. Because if it ain't today, it's tomorrow. All right, it's all in the fucking book. But I was doing everything I did to support my own addiction. I had to, it was how I was going to do it. And I was selling the worst possible thing. I was making other people's lives miserable. At the time, I thought I was a doctor. Sick people would come to me. I would make them not sick. I felt great about it. Obviously now I see the harm in my ways. Yeah. But moreover, I was trying to take care of my desperate self. Like, how am I going to get drugs today? Was always the question. That's the same question. Imagine asking yourself that same question every day. It's the only question you ever ask yourself. Mm-hmm. So I go to meet this kid. Me and this kid had beef. He was a dealer in the same city as me. And there's always this hopefully a lot of people don't know what this is about, but there's a lot of beef between connects in each city. You don't want other people touching your customer base. You don't want other people touching your plug. You want to have everything. It's all, you want it all to be yours. This kid couldn't get drugs that day. He was dry. He had a lot of customers that he wanted to serve. It was Memorial Day, 2008. It's in West Haven, Connecticut. Okay. I leave. I go to the house. I pull up brand new Infiniti G35 that I didn't pay for. I partially paid for it. My grandmother helped me. She was my semi-enabler of the group. She took care of me at all costs. Oh. I pull up and I go to sell this kid drugs and he's like, come on, just give it to me. And I was like, bro, give me the fucking money. You know how this works. I'm not giving you shit until you give me the fucking money. And he's like, no, I want to run inside and put it on the scale. I was like, yo, give me the fucking money or I'm leaving. You know how this goes down. And he goes, you think I have to fucking beat you? And he pulls out a wad of cash, starts counting. He's got a big gold chain on, a wife beater, classic like street shit, right? Red Solo cup. And I'm like, whatever, fuck it, bro. I had my boys with me. He was by himself. So I put it in his hand. He goes, you're fucking beat. Fucking do something about it. And he walks out. I can't tell you the amount of times I went above and beyond when somebody tried to beat me are not in this book. I've jumped on the hood of moving cars and been driven down the street at 6. Jeez. You don't fucking beat me, bro. There is one story where kids tried to do it and I jumped on the side of the car and they sped away and jerked the wheel and I flew off into the street. I lost skin down my whole body. Oh, I don't want to get beat. When you get beat in the drug game, you're a fucking bitch.
What do you mean get beat?
Like, you don't want to get your product stolen. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a psycho, bro.
You know what I'm saying, man?
So he's like, fuck you, you're fucking beat. Bro, the second he turned around, my door was already open and I was on the way behind him. So he starts moving quick and I'm walking up behind him and I go to literally go throw a punch at the back of his head and I step into like a little hole in the driveway. But there's like an overhang of cement. So my foot kind of locks in there. Yeah. And his boy that I didn't know was on the side of the house waiting for all this to go down comes and fucking drills me from the side. I mean, absolutely fucking drills me. And I just hear, and so then the shock sets in. Because I've been through this scenario 15,000 times with shit that shouldn't be happening. So you go into military mode. So I start to assess it. Now, and by the way, now I'm on the ground. First thing I look down, I see my foot is 180. Completely hanging off sideways. Skin broken, bone piercing the skin. Compound fracture, horrifying. Now I look up and there's fists coming at my face. Fist, over and over. So I'm just getting fucked up. My legs hanging off. The neighbors are outside. There's heroin on the ground. There's cash all over the place. My boys get out of the car, out of the backseat of the Infiniti, run over, and they beat the fuck out of the two kids. My boy, I'm not going to even say their names. One of them chokes him out. We get the product back. I G.I. Joe crawl back to my passenger seat and pull myself into the car, and we fucking speed off, okay? So now we're in West Haven. We're speeding down the street. I also had, for some reason, brought a shit ton of product with me to the deal. So I had a whole bunch of shit on me. We had to go stop and drop it back off in my boy's sock drawer, so we stopped there. Now, keep in mind, this is, the majority of people are like, yo, ambulance, get to the hospital. Yeah. I have to go drop drugs off first. I can't go to the hospital. I can't risk it. So we drop the shit off. We drop everything in the house, and he's driving, and every time he doesn't drive stick. So every time he puts it in second, my foot, bad.
You don't know how to operate the clutch.
Bad.
Rookie mistake.
So we get to the I-95, which is a infamous part of my story, and everybody on the East Coast, shout out East Coast, I-95 knows what I'm talking about. We get on I-95, we go to the ramp, and we're about to go to Milford Hospital. We're gonna drive from West Haven to Milford. We get to the ramp. I see the light. I'm like, we're home free. Every single fucking ordinance at the same time. Major crimes unit, narcotics team, the dogs, every fucking buddy, uniform cop, undercover detectives, everybody converges on us at the same time as we're about to turn on the ramp. Middle of the road, they're directing cars around us. I'm sitting there like this with my hands in the air, my foot hanging off of my body. My other boys are already face down in the middle of the street, handcuffed, with a 20-year-old cop with that fucking gun. Get the fuck out of the fucking car! Screaming. Now I'm sitting there like a child at this point. At slow-mo. You know that you know that, like, yeah. You can ideate that feeling, right? Slow-mo. Officer, I can't look in my leg. I don't give a fuck if you have a leg. Get out of the fucking car! So I have to then, with my arm, pull myself and throw myself onto the concrete where I stayed for 2 hours as they searched my car for guns because the neighbors who called the cops said that there was an armed robbery with handguns. They propped my foot up on my golf bag with my golf clubs in it. That I probably was playing golf with my dad the weekend earlier in some trying to have a normal life, some semblance of a normal life. And I sat there and they searched the car. Luckily they didn't find anything because they found like a couple empty bags. It wasn't a big deal. But then they brought me to the hospital and that was just another, side note, they threw fucking 2 plates, 20 screws into my ankle. Yeah. I'm bionic on that ankle. and that injury, even with the splenectomy, the hernia, the fractured skull, all the concussions, all the car accidents, that day in 2008 and that injury has the biggest effect on my life. You'll probably show pictures of this, but after I got clean, I was 300 pounds.
That's funny you say. I have it right pulled up.
There's the ankle right there.
Yep. This was drug Mike.
I'm so glad I don't know this person.
The car above it is that G35.
No, why is it like this, Mike? Why is there a tree in the engine, Mike?
Because a couple months after that, I drove it off a cliff.
Jesus.